Hi there. Welcome to my channel. I really appreciate your time, and I really appreciate you trying to have a higher level of hair wellness. I talk about damaged hair, and I always talk about your damaged hair. And, when I talk about damaged hair in general, and then I talk about the personal issues with the questions, hair questions. So I'm talking about, you. We look at it as a well-rounded education. It is able for you to learn the more questions we have coming from people that are starting to take better care. And then, of course, people who are still wondering if they want to. So it's always good to hear everybody's response so that we get a clear understanding of what damaged hair is about. And I'm talking about, I know that there's damaged hair on the market as far as they're always advertising it. They always throwing lots of information at you when it comes to advertising conditioners and so forth. And then you get a lot of information telling you solutions. So all these things confuse us to knowing what went wrong. Something we did to our hair, or you did to your hair. I say we because I've done it too. We've done something to our hair that was the last straw. And so that's where we're just breaking and we go to a hairdresser and maybe we don't visit her enough for her to analyze what's going on. Or maybe she just hasn't seen that type of damage and she doesn't know what's going on. So either way, you become sort of a victim because you're in your home and you feel bad, but you really don't have a place to turn. I hope that my channel can be a place where you can turn to for hair wellness, to take your hair to the next level of wellness. We talk about our bodies all the time. We talk about keeping them fit. Well, we need that for our hair as well. We need to keep our hair protected. We can't do that unless we know how to condition. And a lot of us don't. A lot of us walk around with damaged hair and are doing nothing about it. And they wear the damaged hair as if it's okay. But really, it's not. And it doesn't look okay. So people can tell when you're damaged versus when you're healthy. So no matter what hairstyle you have, it might show. So my point is this, talking about your personal damage might help you take your hair to the next level of wellness. It might help you see a difference in how you treat your hair at home. You create 80% of your damage at home. So if we can stop that 80% of damage, guess what? You get control over damaged hair. Um, let's see, I'm looking here and it's make sure I got everything down. It's like, oh my God, where did I get lost? Sorry. Yeah, so we talked about personal damage. And then you have some damage that not only do we live with, but you know that it was the last straw. There's something you did was the last straw. But then that's where you are. You know what you did. You kind of know what's wrong, but you're still treating the symptoms and not the cause of the damage. And that's because you don't really know the cause of it. You just know the symptoms of it. So that's when I call it conditioning in the dark. You're conditioning according to the symptoms. So you might have, let's say you're frizzy. So you use your mousse to style your hair. And then when you do that, of course, it takes away the frizzies. Well, here again, you're treating the symptoms and not the cause. So the hair gets worse. It gets more deteriorated. We've got to put back in our hair what we take out. And if we don't do that, our hair deplenishes over time. It's only a dead appendage. It does not have a rehabilitating life. It cannot heal because it's a dead appendage. So the living matter, you must take good care of it as well as the casing, which is the hair follicles or the cuticle. And then, of course, protecting it helps it not only to last longer, but of course to keep its beauty and its luster. You don't have anyone to help you, so you kind of just sit there feeling helpless. I have when I help people with damaged hair, I talk with them, and often they go through emotional downloads. That's why I created the Facebook Dita's Journal. It's for hair faith, so that you can say, you know what, I know I'm doing the right thing for my hair, but my hair is going through a transition, and I know that I'm conditioning and protecting it now. So I have faith in what I'm doing, and I know that my hair will change. having that type of faith is hard unless you have someone to help guide you through it. So keep in touch, and I definitely look at the emails, and I like seeing them come in with people trying to go to the next level of wellness. I hope this channel helps you get there. Unless you have worked on damaged hair, I've had 35 years to see damaged hair. And my salons were all specializing in damaged hair. So, when you get to see damaged hair repeatedly, you understand it better. And because you have some knowledge behind you, you can get to the root of your hair damage. And you can get to the root of the cause of it. And therefore, you can say to yourself, I'm getting better. And even though I'm in this position right now, because hair can't change itself overnight, it takes time for it to change. So, of course, as you're getting better in the hair, the new hair is coming in, it's more protected, it's more conditioned, and so therefore it's more alive than if it wasn't. So remember that it's important for you to know that you may not understand your damage, and you may not have anyone around you that can understand it. So what do? You just sit there and you just kind of have an emotional breakdown and hope that it goes away. And then when it doesn't, you just have to either face your baldness or you're facing your, wearing the wigs and so forth. So let's try to get you out of that state and out of that repetitious rut and get you to understand your damage so you can protect yourself from your damage. I want to mention, one has to work for hair wellness. You just don't get that by, sitting there and going, oh, this is the perfect product. I'm going to put the perfect product on my hair and then it's going to be gorgeous. That's not how it works. I wish it did. My job would be easier. Unfortunately, we need your diligence. We need your learning. We need you to keep in touch with the channel so that you can have more information and I can get to know your damage a little bit better and maybe help you zoom in on what's causing your damage and what to do about it. You also will learn how your hair lives. You learn how the scalp works, and you learn how the hair follicle works. And then you understand a little bit better about, keeping your hair healthy. Once you have more knowledge, then you will be able to use it to get yourself out of damage. So that's a good thing, right? If you're willing to be patient with your hair and realize that one moisturizer is not going to do it. You need to have a routine base. It's just like exercise. If you don't do it on a routine often enough, you won't see any results. But if you stay active and you, make sure you are not stressing during your exercising, because sometimes people have stressed out exercises. But, as long as you're exercising to what your body can do and like, then this is going to be a great thing for hair wellness. So remember that hair wellness, just like you have to work for that body wellness and that exercise and that running every day or going to the gym every day or every other day, however you have your exercise program. What I mean is that it's all good and better for your hair to have that. And you have to be just as diligent with your conditioning as well. So the two kind of run together and they kind of work together the same way. You have to learn how to work out. You have to learn what exercise is for you. So then you go through getting shoes if you're a runner. If you're a swimmer, you're going through getting, your water weights and your water stuff to work out in. So same thing with your hair. If you want it to get better and you want to be on a nice healthy routine, then it's better for you to start heat capping. These are the things, start brushing. These are the things that are going to bring you back to hair wellness and hold your moisture. Yeah, so that's good. Okay, I'm caught up. Here again, I kind of got lost in my notes, kind of like 8 pages. So I know it's not that much information, but I guess it's a lot to digest. I want to thank you for sending your emails to Dita Hair 911, your hair questions. I really appreciate that. It shows so I'm having clients or followers get in touch with me and call me and talk to me, as well as send in more emails so that they can get their answers and then they can go on with their hair wellness. I really appreciate that. I'm glad to know that you're starting the program, or should we say maybe not the program, but a better hair habits or hair maintenance at home. This is always good to keep you in a routine, so I really appreciate that. Thank you again for sending your hair questions to ditahair911@gmail.com. We have a big question today, and the big question is when one or more questions come in asking the same question. So I call it the big question, and today that big question is heat capping for everyone? Yes, it is for everyone. It is for all hair types. It is for all ages. Now, maybe not 1 year old, but definitely 5 and up should be using a heat cap. Heat conditioning, deep heat conditioning is very important. If you're not deep conditioning, then your hair probably doesn't have enough conditioning to make it through the month. And you need to condition to help protect your hair from the environment, from the lifestyle, from the styling, and from wear and tear that goes on daily. So we have to understand that heat capping is for all types. You can't get around heat capping. If you've never heat capped, then your hair is depleted. And the reason is because the heat helps swell the hair shaft. And remember, it's compact and strong. It's made of protein. So it's like a carrot, it's really strong. And so you soften it just as if you would steam a carrot. And then, of course, the conditioners get in deeper into the cuticle and to also the deeper part of the hair shaft. So this is why deep conditioning is important. We're just not as healthy as we used to be. No offense, even though modern medicine has done a lot to improve, I think that people often are still fighting with their diets, fighting with their weight loss, fighting with their, eating habits. And so therefore they're trying to keep it healthy when I say fighting with it. And trying to be on a routine with it, trying to afford it. So, here again, when you're heat capping, it's for everyone because hair is not different. Maybe different textures, maybe different curl, maybe different color. But basically, all of it needs to be conditioned the same way. So whether you're Oriental or whether you're Ebony or whether you are another nationality, you still have 10 to 17 layers of cuticle, and you do need to get inside that cuticle. So I want to make sure you understand that deep conditioning is for everyone. And if you haven't deep conditioned, then your hair really, really needs it. Deep conditioning helps protect you from the sun. It helps protect you from the damage that you cause during the month. So deep conditioning is a must-do. So you've got to put that in your program. All hair types, yes. Everyone needs it. So good. We got that big question done. And it sounds like it might be from clients who are trying to be on the program. So that's good. And I keep saying program, but what I mean is taking my advice and changing your home maintenance routine. So I guess we say being a good follower, because I really appreciate you trying to put this advice into your lifestyle, and you want to change. You want to have better hair maintenance. Question 1 from the email. Do I need to shampoo after swimming? We talked about this before. It's good to repeat this information. So maybe I can say it in a different way so that you still get more and more information, even though you've heard the same information, right? Swimming. It's not necessary that you shampoo after swimming. You can very well apply some conditioner in your hair and then, of course, let it set a little bit, a few seconds, and then rinse it out. The oil is it's not sticky. And so it's not like it's going to cling to your hair and not be able to come off. As far as the stuff that's in the water, dirt, minerals, whatever's in the water, here again, rinsing is great. And remember, if there's anything left, your heat cap treatments will definitely take it off. But I think that what we do is when you shampoo too often, you're removing that acid mantle. The scalp normally has, every hair follicle has an oil sebaceous gland. So when you wash that hair away or that oil away, the scalp puts it back on there. So then you might feel like, oh, I'm oily. But you're only oily because you're shampooing too much and the scalp is working overtime to replace that oil that you just take off. So you don't want to strip your acid mantle. It's always going to be low after you get out of that chlorine. And so you want to go ahead and let it replace itself. So when you sit there and say, oh, I've got a shampoo, and you swim 3 times a week, then the scalp is going to suffer. So what we want to do is be kind to the scalp, and you want to let all the oil will stop if you stop shampooing so much. You just have to get out of that rut of shampooing like that. I don't know where your advice came from about that, but now that you're listening to me, maybe you're taking my advice. And my advice and my research that I found that swimming can be very hard on the hair. And if you choose to have a harsh conditioning treatment, it's not going to aid you in fighting your swimming trouble or dryness. So what you want to do is rinse your hair and feel confident that that rinsing will take away the oil. And like I said, it should feel great. It should smell great because there's conditioner in there. And the conditioner will definitely run the minerals and the iron and the dirt out of your hair. So just know that if you keep shampooing too often, what will happen is that your scalp will become oily because it keeps trying to replace what you keep removing too often. If you get out the rut of shampooing, you'll notice oil, rinse your hair like you're supposed to, and then the scalp will say, you know what? I don't have to produce anymore because oil is already there. All right. Second question. Why brush with 2 nylon brushes? Yes, that is crazy, isn't it? Because when you have 2 nylon brushes, you can stiffen them. We're brushing for stimulation to the scalp. You're not brushing the hair. When you want to brush the hair, a 4-bristle brush is perfect for that. It will collect the natural oils from the scalp and it will pull it out throughout the hair strand, and that helps regulate moisture. Okay? So what you want to think about is you need a strong brush to fluff up the scalp and to stimulate it, to get the hair follicle stimulated. I like brushing. In my research, I had clients brush, and guess what? They did so much better and was faster in healing than the clients that didn't brush. So I know that brushing is good, and nylon brushes is good for stimulation. You're going to apply it to the scalp part and get on the scalp part on the scalp. You're going to go in all different directions. So see how stimulation is achieved and relaxation is achieved because the hair scalp really relaxes when it gets brushed. So that's a good thing, right? So brushing is important, and the 2 nylon brushes are very important because we want to stimulate the scalp and get good blood flow and get the scalp to slough off properly. So we just wanted to be as healthy as we can be, and brushing is a good part of that routine. Third question, my hair is dry. Should I stop iron curling? You don't have to stop iron curling. You do have to lighten up on your heat. I don't know if your heat, you didn't say. If the heat of the iron is too hot, then of course you've got to stop that. But if you're conditioning, deep conditioning, and you're putting back what you take out, you don't have to stop iron curling. But you do have to lower your heat, of course, and then do the conditioning. If you're not going to do the conditioning, then if the hair is having trouble because it's dry, it's going to be dry anyway. And what's causing it to be dry is not just the curling iron. It's got to be something else that you're doing if you're not deep heat conditioning. That would be another setback with your tools to be able to control your damaged hair. So when you look at the question and it says, do I have to stop iron curling? I'm like, no, you got to start heat capping. You got to start deep conditioning. And then, of course, you can always cut your heat down to help minimize. But if you're already on a low heat, you just need to start deep conditioning as fast as you can. Fourth question, I took out my braids, and what conditioning do I need? A lot. a lot of conditioning, a lot of brushing, and deep conditioning every week. Deep condition every week. Moisture and protein conditioners every week, and make sure you deep condition. All right, and then of course do your exercises with your brush, the scientific brushing with the nylon brushes. So yeah, you're going to need all that, because what happens with braids is that the scalp isn't touched. It's pretty much rubbed, or it's, but it needs brushing. It needs stimulation. It needs relaxation. And so you need to stimulate that scalp. So start brushing immediately. Don't worry about the hair that breaks. If you cater to the hair that's breaking, then you'll never achieve the hair wellness. You want to cater to the hair that is not breaking, because that's the hair that's going to be there when it's all said and done. So let's transition over carefully, and definitely let me know how you're doing with that, because you need to be deep conditioning every week and brushing, and definitely protecting your hair by using your mini conditioners that we talk about, where it's in the little conditioners in a filtered water spray bottle, and you're allowed to spray your hair when you come home to help moisturize it. Hair is like a sponge, so you know what it happens to a sponge when it gets dry, right? All right, I love this part. I love this part, hair facts. It is so awesome to get hair facts. Hair facts goes in your hair folder. If you're listening to my channel, you should be with the hair folder. And your hair folder should have things to help you survive right now and take care of your damaged hair and get into a better routine at home, a better home maintenance. Today, the hair facts is talking about deep conditioning. Deep conditioning is very important, and I don't think you realize how important. It helps protect your hair from the sun. It helps rehabilitate your dryness. Dryness is not going to cure itself with just one conditioner. It's definitely not going to cure itself with not deep conditioning. So you have to deep condition with heat, in order to um, bring back your hair. So if you're dry and brittle, you need your moisture conditioning to bring your hair back. So that's going to take series of conditioners. So in other words, you're going to condition this week, next week, and you're going to do that for months until your hair is showing some signs of healing. So you should have understanding that deep conditioning you can't get around. It has to happen in order for you to get to a level of hair wellness. I like to talk with you about, conditioning, and I like talking with you about shampooing, but maybe I don't express enough about how important deep conditioning is. Like I said, it helps protect you from the sun. It helps protect you from your chemical services. It helps all the way around, helps your hair have longer lifespan. So you cannot get out of the deep conditioning. That is just a necessary procedure that you need to take to get your hair in better hair maintenance at home. Here again, you want to mix your protein conditioner and your moisture conditioner together, and heat cap. Remember to check your heat cap. You don't want to be underneath the heat cap without conditioners in your hair. You'll notice that when you take off the heat cap to check it, the conditioning will be light and thin. When you put it back on, you put the conditioner back on, and then you get back underneath the heat cap for the remainders of the minutes. Here again, my heat capping instructions are on my previous posts, as well as my Facebook, Dita Damaged Hair. So you have to, make sure that you're getting rid of your hair damage. Look for your hair having sheen. Dullness is a part of, dryness. So when that is disappeared, and because you're doing your deep conditioning, so you'd say to yourself, well, am I dull, or do I have the sheen? And if you don't have sheen and luster, then you are still very dehydrated. So of course, you can do heat capping as close as 3 days apart. So every 3 days you can heat cap. You can technically heat cap every day, but it's hard enough just to heat cap once a week. So people usually don't do that. However, if you felt like you were that damaged and the hair is breaking due to one reason or another, so you can definitely heat cap every 3 days or every week. And then when the problem clears up, then of course you can go back to your once a week or every 2 weeks, whatever your routine was. So um, just knowing that your heat cap is there to change things. Your heat cap is there to help you get to the next level of wellness. And the deep conditioning is important. You can't get around it. It's a must do. And especially in these days and times where styling products are at their best and our global warming is at its best. So if you think about it, the life of hair has a lot of issues. And I think it struggles with life just as much as we do. So definitely let's give the hair a break and start deep conditioning on a routine basis and start looking at saying to myself, I am in control of my damaged hair. I want to thank you for staying. Your time is very important to me. I don't want to waste it. That's why I try to put as much information as I can and also address things about how you might feel about conditioning as well as your conditioning that you try to do at home now. I hope that I can guide you properly with this channel. Uh, I want to thank you for pushing the like button and making a comment. I really appreciate that. Subscribing is free, so I hope you decide to do that. I want to I want you to have control over your damage, but I also don't want you to be upset about your damage. A lot of times we sit at home and we're upset, and that's why I made the Facebook Deta's Journal, so that you can have hair faith during the time of being so insecure about your new hair habits and scientific conditioning. Until you see the results, until you can look at the results, you really don't understand. So, and once you start though, and you see the results, you start saying to yourself, this is why I went through all of this. I went through changing my ways. I went through learning new conditioning, scientific approach to conditioning. I just, made it part of my life. And so to have a good head of hair, you've got to be diligent. I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking your hair to the next level of wellness with my channel. And thank you again for coming back to see me. Now, go have a great hair day. Thank you.